Hi, Professor. This is for my informative speech on net neutrality. This is my audience, my sister again, and I'm ready to go. In the modern world, the majority of the global population employs the use of the internet to communicate, to spread information, and for their own personal enjoyment. According to Eurostat statistics, a staggering 90% of Europeans utilize the internet in some way, with the United States trailing close behind at over 85% of Americans having some access to the internet. However, the key difference between the United States and their European counterparts is the implementation of a key principle known as net neutrality. Net neutrality is a set of rules that protects Internet's users from ISP giants and operates under the core ideals of no throttling, no paid priority, and transparency. Without net neutrality, Internet users are prone to losing many of the freedoms that they enjoyed in the past. In the following speech, I will explain what net neutrality is, how it has been implemented in the European Union, and how it should be implemented in the United States. Firstly, I'll explain what net neutrality is. At its core, net neutrality is the belief that there should be a free internet. Net neutrality first emerged to the public eye when it was adopted as a core tenet by the FCC in 2005, and after a series of rejections and appeals to Congress for implementation, it was finally and formally adopted and practiced by the FCC on June 14, 2016. However, its tenure was short-lived, and net neutrality was repealed 2 years later on June 11, 2018. The rationale behind this repeal was largely criticized as being anti-consumer, with much of the blame placed upon the acting FCC chairman at the time, Ajit Pai. What's worth noting about Pai is his status as a former attorney for the telecom and ISP giant Verizon. Whether a conflict of interest occurred cannot be stated for certain. However, the allegations that Pai acted in bad faith remains a point of contention against him even after his dismissal and subsequent resignation as chairman of the FCC. Furthermore, net neutrality's core ideals of no throttling, no priority, and transparency stand in direct opposition to the financial gains that ISPs would stand to lose should net neutrality be implemented and enforced. Now that I've explained what net neutrality is, I will now explain how it's implemented in Europe. In the European Union, net neutrality is a standard by which all member nations must abide by. Unlike the United States, the European Union has pointed efforts in ensuring that not only should not net neutrality be practiced, but a general consumer protection be implemented as well. This is observable in the EU's Consumer Rights Directive, which, according to the European Commission, gives consumers the same strong rights across the European Union. The EU's mentality in regards to consumer rights include net neutrality, and this fact reiterates the idea's importance globally. Furthermore, in the EU, net neutrality is mandated across all member nations, with some member nations, such as the Netherlands or Slovenia, differing in the stringency of implementation. In spite of these minor differences, the core of each nation's net neutrality laws enshrines the principle of open internet access, that internet traffic shall be treated without discrimination, blocking, throttling, or prioritization. At the end of the day, the European Union recognizes the fact that there is no free internet without the implementation of net neutrality, a recognition that a certain political party in the United States fails to consider. Finally, now that I've explained what net neutrality is and how it's been implemented in Europe, I will explain how it should be implemented in the United States. Previously, under President Barack Obama, the United States was protected under net neutrality, with some of the core tenets of Obama-era protection being no blocking, no throttling, no priority, and transparency. Unfortunately, during the tenure of FCC Chairman Ajit Pai under the Trump administration, net neutrality in the United States was repealed. However, in spite of the repeal, there emerges a new hope for the reinstatement of net neutrality via the Biden administration. The current chairman of the FCC is Jessica Rosenworcel, who has stated that in regards to net neutrality, we cannot have a two-tiered internet with fast lanes that speed the traffic of the privileged and leave the rest of us lagging behind. We cannot have gatekeepers who tell us what we can and cannot do and where we can and cannot go online. And we do not need blocking, throttling, or paid prioritization schemes that undermine the internet as we know it. This quote by Rosenworcel is significant because it illuminates the FCC's goals in regards to net neutrality today. The most effective method in which net neutrality can be restored is most likely found in a return to Obama-era rulings. Due to the fact that Rosenworcel and Biden were members of the Obama administration during the implementation of net neutrality, it can be assumed that a return to net neutrality is a matter of time as well. In conclusion, without net neutrality, internet users are prone to losing many of the freedoms they enjoyed in the past. In recent years, attacks on America's freedom have largely come from internal sources. Among the divisions in American society, none stand taller than that of class, and the repeal of net neutrality is a prime example of that. Its laws that, that punish the greed of the ISP giants and protect the common classes are a threat that couldn't be tolerated by them, so it was repealed. And as I reach the end of my speech, I hope I've imparted what net neutrality is, why it's important, and why it must be saved. Thank you.